YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this beautiful thing. Yes, we're kind of late to the show as usual on this, but we filmed putting it in, and the install is a little bit weird, so you might want to stay tuned. We'll show you exactly what to do. We are outfit with an 850 milliamp 3S with the IC2. It's right in the middle here, and we do have this set up so that it's on switch A, because I don't like reaching up to hit this bind button. So you can set it to whatever switch you want. As you can see, when I flip the switch, it toggles the different conditions. So without further ado, throttle cuts off. Okay, I don't even know what mode I'm in because I forget. Okay, so that's like safe. Okay, out of safe. Oh, that is so cool. So obviously our objective is to show off the lights because you guys have already seen the plane. Camera crew, if you would come to my right side, that'd be super helpful for me. Oh, that is so cool. They show up through the entire leading edge. There are red and green lights in some conditions. I'm not sure if they're on right now. It looks like some of the conditions include the red lights and some of them don't. There you go. That one's got red and green for good nav lights. As you can see, I like having the nav lights. And again, we're not trying to necessarily show off the amazing characteristics of this plane, but it is. And the camera crew loves filming these little insane planes. Goodness. It is also still windy today. So, switching the lights again. There's another mode. There's another mode, another mode. I think it toggles on a full sequence from plus 100 to minus 100. Oh, that's really good for visibility. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot too. Oh, that's cool. I can definitely say that there's less light modes in this plane than there are in the night Radian, which is just simply amazing at night. Very striking, very fun. It's just the type of thing you want to break out if you're having a party. Of course, we don't have those things. It's because we're too busy filming all this awesome, awesome footage. There we go. There's another one. Very, very helpful on visibility, guys. I didn't know what to expect. There's still kind of some spots where you can get it to disappear. And I think I heard one other of our peers that was suggesting that the taillight would be handy, similar to what they have on the UMX. I agree with that assessment, but that looks rather cool. One big lingering question I have is, why not stock? I suppose they're trying to hold down the costs so that people that are only going to be flying during the day will not have to pay for this cool feature. But I kind of come back to, yeah, but then you can put it in 100,000 units and you can really draw the cost down. Instead of being 35, maybe then it's 20. You know, and it's just like, I think people are demanding LEDs these days. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's my take on it. If you like the LEDs, I think this plane still comes in at or around about 150 as a bind and fly with the LEDs. And this plane is definitely doesn't seem like that much plane for $150. But then you get it and you fly it and you're like, holy crap, that thing is awesome. So it's kind of a tough sell, but I think once you get it and you fly it and you just see how fun it is, it's so much fun. Okay, so of course we got to try the flat spin. I haven't done any flying with this for a while, so let's do it here if we can. There we go. And then safe, just for good measure. Okay, out of safe. Oh, look at that cool sunset there. Let's go over and do some more of those. Okay, you good? Whoa. Are you having fun filming? This is like punishment for that day.
People are gonna need some Dramamine launching this.
And safe. Guys, you know what's so incredible about this plane? And I gotta be honest with you. I promise you, there's a lot of things that are happening when I'm flying this plane that come out of pure happenstance and luck. Because I'll be honest with you, it just does so much craziness that you can really be flying it. It just has such a great flight controller in it that you don't have to be intimately aware of every positional change. It just does what it's gonna do, and it does it really good. So I don't feel like it's hard to fly at all. Now, I'm not gonna put the camera crew at the sticks because she'd probably be very upset with me. But at the same time, I can definitely say this plane just does what it does really cool. One thing I can also say is that it would be very nice to have some differentiation from top to bottom. If your objective is to fly at twilight, everything I'm saying is exaggerated. Now, if you're in pitch dark, this thing is gonna be very easy to see. As you can tell from flying up against the tree line where it's quite dark down here. But then watch this, once you get up into the blue sky, still pretty easy to see, no big deal, right? But then come over here where it's kind of bright. Then you sort of still kind of have some apprehension, I think. So flip your colors. Flip your colors until you get to a suitable color. One that really goes up against the sky. There we go, that's a good one. I find myself doing this lighting. What's a little bit tempting is to have this same exact configuration and maybe like 2 sets of it and just really just deck this thing out. This is just a really nice flying plane, folks. If it's anything about what the things to come, it's a very exciting time to be in the hobby, folks. And yes, I did talk to my contact at Horizon and I said, I want a Carbon Z Ultrix. So I did my due diligence. So whatever it is that you're expecting, I don't know if it's gonna be something they do, but how spectacular would it be? Or, you know, to be honest with you, these lights in just a bigger strip would be awesome. Good. Because I envision an Osprey, or not an Osprey, sorry. I envision a giant flying wing, the Optera.
Oh, that would be cool.
It'd be so cool. The problem is the Optera is, I don't know, it's not near as forgiving as this plane, I can tell you that for sure. See, there is that spot where you can disappear. Is that a bat?
Probably.
Oh wait, no. Is that a bat? I think it might be. Might have been just a barn swallow. I think it's a barn swallow, hon. I'm waiting for it to get dark enough that I glow on the ground from about 10 feet up. That's when these lights are gonna just be spectacular. By the way, we are flying crosswind and now we're into the wind right now. So cool. Okay, so I just thought of something on the NX8 that I have had a hard time coming up with a good time to talk about. And that is, I have a really hard time finding the trim knobs on the NX8 and the NX6. I never had a problem finding trims on the DX18 or any of the DX lineup that I used. Granted, I never had a Gen 2 or Gen 3. I only had a Gen 1 of any of those. Which just means they changed the design around that time, I know. The physical properties of the radios, not just the electronics. But what I was gonna say is, I don't know if you guys have that same problem, but like on the elevator axis, I have a really hard time finding it. I don't have a problem with the ailerons or the rudder. I can always find that one without looking. But then like tonight, especially when it's dark, that black on black makes it really challenging to find the thing. So I don't know if you guys are running into that issue too. If you've done anything to resolve it, I suppose a guy could probably paint the tip, that textured portion of the rocker switch. Sorry, I knew you were gonna have a hard time getting that after I executed it. Let's try it a little bit further out from you.
I think that was further.
Did you get it?
No.
Dang it.
Here, do it again. I'll zoom out.
Sorry, there's a bug on my forearm. Don't you love it how always flying at your face when that happens? Here we go. Man, that is so cool. So folks, if you haven't experienced the Ultrix, I definitely recommend that you consider picking one up. Now, whether or not you're into the light kit is yet to be determined. I tend to think that if you fly at twilight, imagine how terrible it would be to see this thing. You would not be flying right now because it would just be this blip. See, let's show you the worst lighting condition. Up against backlight. See that? That's as good as you would get.
Yep.
Now look at that. As soon as I pull up, I can see exactly what direction I'm going. I can tell whether I'm up or down. So cool. Change the lights again. Change the lights again. Very cool. Oh, and by the way, we have totally disrespected our timer. But we also do have a smart pack with airwear on this. So we do have all sorts of telemetry data, which basically lets us know what's going on. We don't have to have, you know, a timer that is super crucial. You can still go by timer, but I wouldn't recommend it. That's definitely the best one. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah. All right, guys, we're getting to that point of night where it's dark enough. So now, camera crew, what'd you think of the install? Sorry.
I think it was bad.
I thought it was a pain.
Did you?
Yeah. But it wasn't like terrible. It just was like, really, this seems so, like, why didn't they just have it in there? I think that was my predisposition.
Well, so, yeah. And we were trying to kind of hit this window of lighting conditions.
Yep,
so
and I was nervous we were going to miss it.
More rushed.
Because I was being a lazy bum this afternoon, taking a nap for once. That's what old people like to do, in case you were wondering, all you youngsters.
And clean their carpets.
Yes. No, I was helping. I was helping. You want to know how I was helping?
Supervising.
I was telling you if the water was dirty or not. See, this is what really happens. People are like, oh man, that must be a spicy lifestyle you've got there. It's like all the carpet cleaning that goes on behind closed doors. Oh, that's the joys of adulthood.
You were a great supervisor.
I was. I think so. See, like that situation there, I became very slightly disoriented at the top of that roll. And yet this thing just flies. It's just like, yeah, whatever, Brian. You don't need to know what direction you're going. It's no big deal. I got your back, says the flight controller.
I think the lights are super cool.
I think they're awesome. I think that the lights kind of make this plane, and that is all the bigger reason that they should have been on it. Sorry, Horizon. I love this plane, and I really do love it. And it is kind of, I think when they put out planes like this, it's always a big question mark, like if they're gonna perform or not, if they're gonna sell a lot of them. But I am really glad they go out on a limb for these sort of things. And the funny thing is, you know, it feels like it's a dime a dozen for the Chinese alternatives that do this sort of thing. And, you know, they're still not a dime a dozen. They're still expensive, but I just feel like Horizon sometimes does a little bit better job, and then other times on these planes, they've actually not hit the mark, and it's very weird. This one definitely hits the mark.
Yeah.
Like the Delta Ray, for instance, great plane. awesome, awesome plane. That was one of the planes that was informative in my learning to fly experience. And I would highly recommend that if you guys have a chance to learn to fly, that you do it with SAFE technology. SAFE is sensor-aided flight envelope, so I'll show you some SAFE right now. There's SAFE, look at that. Not even looking. Maybe I should look, it's dark. See, when I let go of the stick, it just levels out. When I let go of the stick, it levels out. Very cool. SAFE is a, oh, warning. Look at that. See, I told you we don't need to worry about battery because it's going to go into schizo mode. Schizophrenic mode. Okay, so I'm in SAFE, but I'm gonna come out of SAFE so I can point the nose down a little bit. I don't know if the, oh, it's pulsing. Okay, cool, cool. There we go, guys. Okay, now can I change that mode?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, so that was a real short flight. That was only 10 minutes and 23 seconds past our 5.
Yep.
So we had a total of 15 minutes. By the way, we used that same battery for the entire setup time. Well, not the entire setup, I mean, however long we had it plugged in. So maybe half of that time. So
plugged in and the lights were on for 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, it had a lot of lag time in there. I love the added experience you get from having these LEDs. The cat is very concerned. Do you see this? This is hilarious. What do you think of that? So anyway, in closing, I love these lights. I love this plane. I think they're both awesome. I think they're paired very well together. And I also think that they should have been together from day one. Beyond that, you know what? Somebody beyond me made that decision. So you can just order them together and put them in before you even take off, and that's what I would recommend you do. So if you're getting the Ultrix and you're getting it without the light, I feel like you're getting part of the Ultrix. I feel like you have so much more. It's kind of like when people ask me this, they say, what timber do I get? In my opinion, the Turbo Timber 1.5 Evo, the Turbo Timber Evo, which is in the 1.5 configuration, is what I recommend. But then people ask me, do I get the Night Timber X or do I get the Timber X? And I say, why would you get the Timber X when you get the Night Timber X? Because it's like you can do so much more with it. It's got so much more plane there, right? So my take on this and many other airplanes is that if we have LEDs, we have a plane that you can fly in fall. Because in Iowa, in the Midwest, and this may be opposite if you're on the other hemisphere, so I apologize, I don't mean to disclude you, you just replace the correct season or month. But like, let's say it's December, and it's beautiful. You get this like warm 40-degree day in December, it's sunny, we come out in our shorts and tank tops, and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And, you know, we go to fly planes, right? Because that's what we want to do. Well, that's great. Now, let's say you came home from work at 4:30 that same day, and it's been a very nice day, 40, 50 degrees. You really, really want to fly. This is how it's going to look at 4:30 or 4:45 in central Iowa on, you know, January 2nd or January 3rd or something like that. Now, granted, it's not going to typically be 50, but the thing is, I want to fly. So that's why I say, Horizon, you're in Illinois, you get this stuff, okay? LEDs are a must-have for Midwesterners. And remember, it's not just Midwesterners, it's people all over the planet Earth that have to deal with seasonal changes. Now, you people in California, you don't get this. You people that are closer to the equator, you don't get, well, Northern California, they still have the seasonal changes. But if you're closer to the equator, you don't have that problem. You don't get dark at 4 o'clock, you know, or 4:30. You know, if you're out in Alaska, it's bright until midnight for a few months of the year, and then the rest of the months of the year, it's dark at 3. So it might be dark all day. So this is the ticket to make your plane whole in those conditions. And that's why I think this thing needs to be installed factory. Even if the price point's a little bit higher, I think it's gonna be better, really. UMX, same thing, because you have this performance plane and you want to be able to do this. Now, what I would recommend though, is that one of the flight controls, just like this, shuts off the lights or goes to a basic nav light configuration. I want basic red and green and nothing else. That's the only complaint I have with this. And really, it's not even a complaint, it's just it's more of an observation. This is cool, and you know that 99% of the time people are gonna be doing cool things with it. I love the fact that it goes to this red when it's about dead, but it does make it very difficult to see for landing. So that being said, I wanna be able to switch back to basic nav lights in a condition where I'm like, no, all of a sudden I need to take out of recreation mode and go to safety mode, you know, that sort of thing. But otherwise, love it. Install was a bit of a pain. Took probably 20 minutes. It wasn't that big a deal, but I didn't like it. I thought it was annoying. So stay tuned if you want to see me be annoyed. It's not the first time or the last time. Any thoughts, camera crew?
They're super cool. I think it's kind of a novelty plane. And
yeah.
The lights just add to that. So I agree. Like
it should have been there. Yeah, should have been there.
But it's very cool.
And by the way, full disclosure, I did break a prop. I think it was like toward our third or fourth flight. I just replaced one of them. And just be a little bit careful when you come in to do your landings. I had done one of these where I rolled and I caught the prop because this nose gear, over time it gets bent back just a hair, and so that changes your ground clearance a little bit. So just be a little bit careful on there. The kit came with both props, and it came with all 4 screws. So super easy, took like 3 seconds to change that, no big deal at all. Really do like the Ultrix, guys. Get one for yourself. Check the link in the video description below. If you want to help support our channel, there's other ways to do it too, but I still think the best way is to just buy the planes. If you don't like that idea, there's a million other planes down there, but also we have Patreon and PayPal if you don't like monthly support. We really appreciate you guys. We have supporters on all of those different levels, and we really do appreciate we got our first PayPal support today, which is really cool. So we're very humbled and honored to be having people that believe enough in our channel and what we're doing here to help support us financially. So that's very cool. So thank you guys. And I'm not going to call out your name publicly because I don't know if you want that yet, but we do really appreciate it. So definitely, guys, come back for more. And we do appreciate you. World's best YouTube audience right here on Brian Phillips RC. Seriously, stay tuned. You can watch me struggle through this. It's super fun. All right, YouTube, you've seen it fly, we think, and now we're gonna install this kit. We couldn't find any helpful videos or anything, so we're gonna do a video for you today about installing the light kit, the optional light kit on the Ultrix 600 millimeter. Looks like some people have done them on the Ultra Micros, but we're just gonna show how to add this little kit. It just comes with 2 strings of lights from E-flite. This is optional. It doesn't come with the plane. Not a big fan of that. I think it should be on there, but that's all right. Okay, so the way this works is pretty simple. You have one plug. I marked it, okay? So you pop the bottom, flip your plane over, pop this little cover off. I marked it in red. Do you guys see that? That's supposedly where you plug it in, per the electronic manual on the website, not our manual that came with it, just because I wanted to make sure it was right. If you're in any question, in any doubt, plug it in first and test, okay? So we have our batteries charging over there feverishly. One of them is charging at 4.2 amps, which is crazy. It's the maximum speed it can charge. So it comes with these 2 LED strips that actually set down in, just like this. And I think there's a Phillips screw that holds on what appears to be a motor mount, but I'm still not 100% sure exactly how you're supposed to do all this, because is there like some trick to this? I don't know. We're just gonna pull this up and throw caution to the wind. This is tape, so it does come, oh my goodness, that stuff is sticky.
Kidding.
Sticky, icky, icky. Luckily, I do have some white tape downstairs. There we go. Oh, once I got the edge, it's fine, but look how much it marred up. That's not cool. So I'm just gonna pull it up like this. If you wanna come over from here, you'll be able to actually see. Okay, see how it's got a little bit of glue on it? Okay, so that's all you need to do is just get that pulled up a little teeny bit, and I'm gonna take a piece of tape. I'm gonna double back so that I can get it later. And I just don't want to have to fight that. So I'm going to pull that tape and stick it to a piece of decal so it doesn't get in my way the entire time, okay? And we have to repeat that process on the other side, but I want to try to reach in a little bit further and see if we can get this peeled up. This foam is pretty forgiving. Sometimes the foam, oh yeah, if you do it slow, you can do it carefully and it won't stretch out as much. I stretch my decal so bad on there. Okay, then we'll do the exact same thing over here, just a little piece of regular tape. Kind of fold it over, make a quick release tab for ourselves. And it fell back down on me. I figured that would happen. You're right where I need my elbow there, camera crew. Okay. I guess I could pull the stupid gear out. That would make it a little easier. There we go. Not promising for sticking back down, is it? Okay, so now that's out of the way. This is out of the way. And now you just need to lay this down. I would recommend getting your plug so it's right first. These plugs are sometimes a little bit tedious to plug in. What you want to do is you want to look for the little rail on the side, and then that's how you figure out what part lines up on the key there. So if you look at the tip of the scissors, the key is closer to my belly, toward the nose of the aircraft. So that means I have this connector in the right orientation. So just drop it down there and of course push it in, and there it's seated. Okay, so we're not going to worry about doing any testing because I trust myself to get that right, and hopefully I'm not completely wrong. There isn't even any tape in this. Wowzers. Okay.
So the color doesn't matter?
I don't think there is a color, Megan.
Okay.
Because this is just a multicolor strip. Okay, so the camera crew has talked me into it. One of our batteries just got done, so we'll go ahead and grab. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for the part number, we're going to link to this down in the video description below. So we'll flip it over, pop the hatch access, grab one of the two batteries. This is one 850 30C Gen 2 Smart Pack. And we'll just plug this in and let it arm. Throttle cut is on. As you can see, the lights are on. Okay, so the camera crew had a point. There are red and green. She's smirking. So this plane's upside down. So red is right returning if it's right side up.
Yes.
Okay, red is right returning if it's right side up. So red is left if it's upside down, okay? So I'm not 100% sure if there's another way to do this or if you're supposed to be able to peel this up or what the deal is exactly. Looks like there's some tape here. Ooh, look at that. There is tape. Look at that, tape. See the tape? Mm-hmm. Maybe that tape is all we have to undo. Ooh, that definitely will work.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna grab an X-Acto knife. And much like our other UMX counterparts, sometimes you have to sacrifice the decal. You don't take it off, you just cut it, okay? So there is a seam right here. And if you find the seam, you can cut. And then I usually walk the blade in just a hair, if I can. I'm sorry, I know I'm probably getting close to blocking your view there, camera crew. We might be able to lean it up actually, now that I think of it. Is there tape there? No, see, that's glued still. I think it's just residual glue. I think it's supposed to come up, but it's just not because it's got a little residual on there. It's China glue. Okay, so that might be good enough. Okay, so we want the red would normally go to the right, but it's going to go to the left this time. I wonder if we can feed that through. The strip is stiff enough that you can sort of guide it through. And yes, there are contacts on the end, so you can continue onward if you'd like, I believe. Ooh, that's nice. Come on. You know you want it.
Could you use like a skewer?
Maybe. I'd like to make this as tool-free as possible, but I don't want the sun to go down and have to test this tomorrow. Oh wait, it is a night flight, I guess, technically. Let's just see if this will open up. I'll be the sacrificial lamb as usual here. Nope. I don't think it's gonna open up without breaking it. So I'm just gonna try to lift up the edge here a little bit and try to walk that on top of that black wire. There's a bundle of wires that go out to the electronic, the motor in this case. And I'm just having a real hard time passing it through because I keep hitting that button. There, I got on top of it that time. And you guys will probably run into the exact same situation. Okay, so now we'll pause and get a Q-tip or something. Try with this thing just to see if it works. I don't know if it will, but we'll give it a shot. The camera crew suggested it, so I'm sure it'll work perfectly on the first try. And I initially rejected it, so again, it'll work perfect on the first try. I'm gonna fold a tail over so we can get that pulled off easy. I think the angle might be a little bit challenging. Even still, we're gonna definitely give it a shot. See, look how terrible that worked. Your idea.
I hate when that happens.
I know. Well, it's all right. We got it done, right?
Yep.
So we don't have to untape the other side at least. That's kind of nice. Okay, so it's through. So now I just want to grab both ends of this and make sure it's flat. And then there's a distinct point where they drop down in there. I'm a little bit weirded out by the fact that there's just like genuinely nothing to hold this down. Like they didn't provide any tape or anything. I mean, granted, it's clear tape in my case. I'm not super worried about it, but like really? So, Horizon, good lights. Why were they not in the initial model? It's kind of my question right now. I think it was probably a cost thing, but even still. This would be a good time to have a third set of hands in case somebody was around to help you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and put a small piece of tape just to hold the last LED into its kind of little home there. And then I'm gonna push that down. Then I can pull this. And there are more light conditions that you can do. I'm just gonna take a few of these small pieces because I thought I could just tape the whole thing down, but it's not, it's wanting to be too unwieldy. So I'm just gonna grab a few of them and just kind of periodically push it down. Okay, now I should be able to do this. Measure out what you need, give it a quick cut, touch the backside of the tape to keep that static, and then down you go. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward stuff. All right, so what we're gonna do is, now that you've seen how we did that, we'll get the other side done and we'll come right back. So we have both of them taped down on either side, and then just make sure that your black wire, which is the motor lead for your respective nacelle, make sure that wire does not end up underneath your LEDs. And then all you have to do is just a little bit of cable management. I'm just gonna plop a little piece of tape right here, just kind of across that, and that's just gonna keep things down until we have a chance to get the covers on. Keep in mind, this cover does pop off from time to time, so you wanna have your cables managed somewhat well. I'm just doing a quick twist with the wires, okay? It's not a hard thing to do, it's just kind of like, really? Shouldn't we have somebody doing this that's putting the motors in and stuff? That's kind of my take on it, but either way, it's a sweet mod. And when I say mod, I mean you pay $35 and then you put it in. So it's kind of not really a mod, it's an upgrade. Okay, so we'll just drop this down. Okay, there you go. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be on this side. That stuff is still pretty tacky, surprisingly. I'm really happy with the way that stuff went back down. I thought it was gonna be terrible. Now this is the moment of truth over here because this one was really bad. Yeah, I kind of doubled it back on itself, it looks like, a little bit on accident. That might be kind of challenging to undo, but you know what? I love it when I'm wrong. See that? it wasn't so terrible as I thought it was gonna be. Awesome. That is great news. Okay, so now really the only thing I need to watch out for is that these things don't pop out when the door opens. So I'm gonna actually kink the wire a little bit. Remember, this is not an antenna, it's just a wire. So you can kink them if you want. And when you kink them, they will stay somewhat put up. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm just gonna plop this piece of tape on here to help secure that lid, because it does like to pop off real easy. I don't want to cover up the fins so that it allows the air to still go around. And then remember, I cut this piece of tape over here, which I didn't even realize there was a piece of tape there before tonight. I'm just going to stick that right there on the side of the nacelle. And then on the other side, we tried to cut, but we didn't actually cut because that decal was so thick. So now there's some radio setup, and we're gonna clean up and come right back for that. Okay, so we have to make an assignment because switch D, in my case, is what's making the change in state on the LEDs, which is really cool. So I'm gonna scroll over here to monitor mode, and it looks like it's auxiliary 1. I don't have anything assigned to bind. That's what it's supposed to be on the bind button. I think I have safe assigned on this one, because I don't have retracts. So we'll have to verify. Well, actually, we should be able to tell. This one has a flight controller, so it acts a little bit different than some of the other planes. So throttle first. Nope. I honestly don't know. Oh, we have to look at the controller. That's right. There's a light on the controller. See how there's a blue light and a red light? There we go. So I have safe intermediate. I have it on this switch. Okay, so this doesn't do anything in my application either. So I could actually set that instead of switch I, because I don't want to necessarily have to, although is it changing? Or is that just a sequence?
I wonder if that's...
No, I think it's actually changing. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to system setup, disconnect RF, and then we're gonna go down to channel assign. And we're gonna scroll down to auxiliary 1. We'll just make it switch A. And then auxiliary 2 is also switch A. That's weird. Well, I guess I'm gonna do this one to switch D just to be on the safe side. Okay, so now we're back out in regular flight mode. And then as we flip the switch we can get to for the landing gear, it will toggle. I don't think that does anything, folks. And then auxiliary 3, I don't think it does anything either. Okay, cool. So they suggest setting it to I. When you hit I, then it would switch. Okay? Mine's gonna be switch A. So you can do whatever you want. So as you see, all that you need to do is actuate auxiliary 1, and that makes a change in conditions on your lights. Okay? Pretty cool. All right, guys, as usual, if you wanna buy this thing to help support our channel, you aren't actually buying it from us, you're just buying it from the links, and we get a small commission from the company selling it. And you will be helping to fund our channel, which we really appreciate. And then, by the way, this Ultrix is super fun. As you can see, we timed this so that it would just basically be dark when we were done, but you've already seen the flight. And so we hope that you enjoyed that. Also, any other planes that you like, for instance, these planes that we have sitting here, and many, many, many more are in the links below. So please stay tuned. There's so much action coming. We love bringing you this RC hobby and all the latest and greatest technology, at least from the companies we work with. And obviously the NX8 has been great. So if you're looking for a computerized transmitter that you can really dig into and get used to, I'd highly recommend it. Yes, we are running this on an 850 milliamp Gen 2 3S pack, which is really cool. It's also got an IC2, which is the bane of everybody's existence because nobody seems to have the adapters. But that being said, Ultrix is awesome. UMX is also awesome. We'll try to get the UMX set up with some lights as well and show you the full out install so that you guys can copy along at home. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Definitely check the links in the description below to buy this. And we also have the Patreon and PayPal. And don't forget to come back for more. Thanks for watching.